My child, I am releasing provision into your life right now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, as my voice reaches you, I am opening doors that no hand can shut. Doors of provision, doors of opportunity, doors that have stood locked for years. I hold the key, and I am turning it in your life at this very hour. Can you sense it? Something is moving in the unseen realm, and it is moving for you. Resources are being loosed, paths are being cleared. The barriers that held back your increase are coming down while I speak. This is not a promise for some far-off season. This is happening as you listen. I have watched every effort you made to open these doors on your own. You knocked, you pushed, you tried every way a person can try. And I have come to tell you something that will set your shoulders free. You no longer need to force it. You no longer need to fight alone because I have taken this matter into my own hands. When I open a door, no power in heaven or on earth can close it. When I close a door, no scheme can pry it open. The door you pressed against 1,000 times, the one that never gave way, I am opening it for you myself. The opportunity that looked impossible, I am carrying it toward you. The resource you could not find, I have already set it aside with your name on it. It is moving. It is on its way. It is arriving even now. Listen closely because I want you to understand why you are hearing this today. You did not find these words by accident. I arranged this moment. I drew you here because your appointed time has come, and I refuse to let it pass you by unaware. There are seasons when heaven leans low over a single life, when I move with unusual power on behalf of one person, and this is such a season for you. You are not overhearing a message meant for someone else. I am speaking to you. I know how long you have waited. I know the prayers you spoke into the dark and the ones you were too tired to finish. I know the mornings you rose with a weight on your chest and carried it through the whole day without telling a soul. None of it escaped me. And I did not stay silent because I was absent. I stayed near, working in places you could not see, arranging what had to be arranged until the hour was right. The hour is right now. Understand what I am doing. I am not patching the old thing. I am not offering you a small relief so you can limp another mile. I am changing the ground beneath your feet. I am rewriting the terms of your provision. Where there was a trickle, I am opening a river. Where you rationed, you will pour. Where you shrank back, you will stand and give thanks. Think of my servant Elijah by the brook. When the brook dried up, it was not the end of him, because I had already commanded a widow in Zarephath to sustain him. Before he felt the lack, the answer was in place. That is how I work. The supply is prepared before the need arrives. Your answer is not being assembled in a hurry. It has been waiting for this appointed day. And think of the manna in the wilderness. My people woke each morning, and the provision was simply there, lying on the ground like frost. They did not plant it. They did not earn it. They gathered what I had already given. I am teaching you to live this way, with open hands instead of clenched fists, gathering what my faithfulness lays down for you day by day. I want you to notice something about the doors I open. They rarely look the way you imagined. You have pictured one particular door for so long that you may not recognize the one I am unlocking. So keep your heart soft and your eyes lifted. The connection that seems small may carry the whole answer. The ordinary day may hold the extraordinary turn. When Joseph woke in his prison cell on the last morning of his captivity, it looked like every other morning. By nightfall he stood before Pharaoh. One day, one door, everything changed. Do not measure your future by your present circumstances. Your circumstances are the old chapter. I am the author, and I have already begun the new one. What you see around you is the scenery of a season that is ending, not a prophecy of the seasons to come. I do not consult your bank ledger before I decide what to do for you. I consult my own faithfulness, and my faithfulness has never once run dry. So here is what I ask of you in this opening hour. Stop bracing for disappointment. You have taught your heart to expect the worst, so that hope cannot wound you again. But that armor has grown heavy, and it keeps out more than pain. It keeps out expectation, and expectation is the open window through which my provision loves to enter. Take the armor off. Let yourself hope again. Hope in me is never wasted. Because I do not awaken hunger, I have no intention of feeding. I am not asking you to pretend the pressure is not real. The pressure is real, but my word outweighs it. When I speak over a life, my word becomes the heaviest thing in that life. Heavier than the debt, heavier than the fear, heavier than the years of struggle. And I am speaking over your life now. Receive this hour for what it is, a turning, a hinge on which your story swings. You walked in here carrying one kind of life, and I intend for you to walk out carrying another. Stay with me through every word I have for you today, because each one is a stone laid in the road I am building under your feet. If your heart is stirring even a little, answer me now. If you believe I am opening doors for you this hour, say, Amen, Lord, I receive it. Now let me speak about what I have seen, because you have carried much of this alone, and it is time you knew that none of it was hidden from me. I was in the room on the nights you could not sleep. I watched you stare at the ceiling, adding the same numbers again and again, hoping they would come out different. They never did. And the weight on your chest grew heavier with every counting. You turned over. You tried to pray. Sometimes the prayer came out whole, and sometimes it was only my name spoken once into the dark. Hear me now. The single word reached me as surely as the longest prayer. I saw you open your wallet and close it again quickly. I saw you leave the envelope unopened on the table for 3 days because you already knew what it said. I saw you do the quiet arithmetic at the market, setting one thing back on the shelf so the rest could stay. You thought no one noticed? I noticed. I saw the harder thing too, the thing you have never told anyone. The pretending. You stood among people who love you and answered that you were fine. You kept your voice steady while something inside you was buckling. You gave to others out of your little because shame would not let you say the little was almost gone. You were carrying 2 burdens at once, the lack itself and the loneliness of hiding it. I saw both, and neither one moved me to condemn you. They moved me to act. Understand this about my silence. It was never indifference. A farmer is not indifferent in winter. He is waiting for the ground to be ready. All through your hardest season I was working where your eyes could not follow, aligning what had to be aligned, positioning people you have not yet met, holding back what would have crushed you and allowing only what you could bear. You survived things that should have broken you. That was not luck. That was my hand. And now, hear the word I have been waiting to speak over you. It is finished. The long season of lack in your life has reached its end, not because circumstances shifted on their own, but because I have decreed it. And when I decree a thing, nothing above the earth or beneath it can reverse my ruling. No shortage can argue with me. No history of struggle can file a protest. My word stands, and my word says the cycle is broken. The pattern you inherited, the one that followed your family like a shadow, loses its claim on you today. The old rhythm of almost enough, of 1 step forward and 2 steps back, of every gain swallowed by a sudden loss, I am shattering that rhythm now. It does not get to write your next chapter. I do. I know a part of you flinches at these words. Hope has cost you before. You believed once, and the breakthrough did not come when you thought it would, and something in you decided never to be that open again. I am not wounded by your caution, but I ask you to look at who is speaking. Men promised and failed you. Circumstances promised and mocked you. I am neither a man that I should lie, nor a circumstance that I should change with the weather. When I say the season has turned, the season has turned. Consider the woman who came to my prophet Elisha with nothing left but a small jar of oil and creditors at her door. She saw an ending. I saw a beginning. The oil poured and kept pouring, filling vessel after vessel, and it stopped only when there were no more vessels to fill. The lack was never in my supply. Bring me your empty vessels, all of them. The dried-up dreams, the abandoned plans, the hopes you folded away. My oil has not run out. Consider my people at the sea, the water ahead, the army behind. No reasonable way forward. Reason was not consulted that day. I split the water and they walked through on dry ground. Your situation may look sealed on every side. Sealed is where I do my clearest work, because when the way opens, you will know beyond argument that it was me. So let the anxiety begin to loosen its grip tonight. You have kept watch over your troubles like a guard who fears to sleep, as if your worrying were holding the walls up. It never was. I hold the walls. I ask you to trade the watchman's post for a child's rest. The one who keeps you neither slumbers nor sleeps, so you may. And let the shame go with it. Lack was a season you passed through, not a name you were given. You are not the balance of an account. You are not the sum of what went wrong. You are mine, and what is mine does not stay buried, because I am a God who brings things up and out of pits, out of prisons, out of long winters into sudden spring. From this day, watch for the small signs first. The unexpected kindness. The bill that resolves more easily than it should. The idea that arrives in the quiet and will not leave you alone. Breakthroughs seldom announce themselves with trumpets at the start. They begin like the first thin light before sunrise, easy to miss if you are not looking east. Look east. I have ended what needed ending. Now I begin what I have long prepared. The decree is spoken, the seal is set, and heaven itself has recorded this day as the day your account turned. Walk out of this hour lighter than you walked in. The weight was never yours to carry, and I am taking it back. If this word has found the sore place and touched it, do not stay silent. Speak it out with your own mouth. I believe the cycle is broken. Amen. Now I must correct something in the way you come to me, because it has shaped your receiving more than you know. You have been approaching me like a beggar at a stranger's gate, head down, voice small, asking for scraps and apologizing for asking, rehearsing your unworthiness before you dare to speak your need. My child, who taught you to stand at my door like that? It was not me. I never put that posture on you. Somewhere along the road, disappointment and shame dressed you in it, and you have worn it so long it feels like your own skin. Today I am asking you to take it off. You are not a stranger at my gate. You are a child in your father's house, and a child does not beg at the family table. A child sits down. Everything in the house is already arranged with that child in mind: the bread, the shelter, the protection, the name. When my son told the boy who came home from the far country, "Remember what the father did," the boy arrived rehearsing a servant's speech, planning to ask for a hired hand's place. The father never let him finish the speech. The robe was already out. The ring was already chosen. The feast was already ordered. That is the house you live in. That is the father you have. So lift your head when you speak to me. Come boldly, not because you have earned boldness, but because the door you walk through was open for you at the highest cost, and it insults no one when you use it. Ask largely, expect warmly. A small request does not honor me more. It only reveals how small you still believe my heart to be. And because you are an heir and not a beggar, I can now speak to you about giving, because only heirs can give freely. Beggars clutch, heirs release. My child, I am asking you to place a portion of what you have, something of real weight, upon the altar of this work, as gold laid on the scales of this calling. Let it be a seed sown into deep water, an offering set on stone, not held back in fear. This is proof that your trust rests in my hand to provide, and that your heart no longer clings to lack. What you release in faith does not leave your life. It moves ahead of you into the harvest I am preparing. Let me tell you why release matters so much in my kingdom. It is not because I lack anything. The cattle on 1,000 hills are mine, and the gold in every hidden vein of the earth. I do not need what is in your hand. But I care greatly about what has hold of your heart, and the hand often confesses what the heart conceals. A closed fist tells me fear is still governing. An open hand tells me trust has taken the throne. When you release, you are not losing. You are voting. You are declaring which kingdom you believe in, the kingdom of scarcity that says there will never be enough, or my kingdom, where loaves multiply in the breaking and water turns to wine in the pouring. Remember the widow I watched at the treasury. Rich men gave heavy sums that cost them nothing. She gave 2 small coins, and I said her offering outweighed them all. I was not measuring the amount. I was measuring the trust. Her coin said, "Tomorrow belongs to God." That is the arithmetic of heaven, and it has never been revised. Now understand what your inheritance actually contains, because it is far more than provision. Wisdom is in it, wisdom for every decision that stands before you now. When Solomon asked for an understanding heart, I gave it gladly and added what he had not asked. I have not changed. Ask me for wisdom, and I will not scold you for asking. Direction is in it, the right step at the right hour. Connections are in it, people I have positioned along your path whom you have not yet met, who will open what you could not open alone. Peace is in it, the kind that stands guard over your mind when the news is bad and the answer is delayed. All of this is yours by birthright, not by bargaining. You do not flatter me into it. You do not fast yourself thin to deserve it. You receive it the way a child receives breakfast in the Father's house, with thanks, without groveling, as the natural provision of a house that has never known famine. Do not fear that the supply will thin as you draw from it. An earthly estate divides among the heirs, and each receives a smaller share. My house does not divide that way. Every child receives fully, and the storehouse stands as full as before. Your portion takes nothing from another, and no other hand can take your portion. It was measured for you, set aside for you, and it keeps your name. But an inheritance unclaimed feeds no one. A deed locked in a drawer builds no house. This is why I keep pressing you to receive, to speak, to act, because the transfer is complete on my side and waits only for your side. Faith is how an heir signs for what is already his. Stretch out your hand. Say of every promise I have made you today, "This is mine, because my Father said so." And when the provision begins to flow, remember the order of the house. You are blessed to be a river, not a reservoir. Rivers stay clean because they keep moving. What I send through your hands will feed more than your own table. and in the feeding of others your own supply will renew itself, the way a spring renews itself quietly, from a source deeper than any drought can reach. Walk out of this hour with a new posture, shoulders back, head lifted. Not in pride, for pride is just fear wearing perfume, but in sonship, in daughterhood, in the settled dignity of one who knows the house they belong to. The house is mine. The table is set, and your seat has carried your name upon it far longer than you would believe. Now I want to teach you about the power I placed in your mouth, because you have been holding a key and calling it a burden. When I made the world, I did not build it with hands. I spoke it. Let there be light, and light obeyed. That is the pattern of my kingdom, and when I formed you in my image, I set a measure of that same pattern inside you. Your words are not noise that fades in the air. They are seeds. They fall somewhere. They grow into something. Every day of your life you have been sowing with your mouth, and much of what surrounds you now sprouted from words planted long ago, some of them yours, some spoken over you by others. This is why I ask you to declare what I am doing, not merely to think it. Silent agreement is a beginning, but faith finds its full strength when it crosses the lips. With the heart a person believes, and with the mouth confession is made. There is a bridge between the unseen realm where I have already answered and the visible realm where you are waiting, and your spoken word is a plank in that bridge. When you say what I have said, heaven and earth begin to agree, and what was prepared above starts arriving below. Consider Jericho. The walls did not fall to swords or ladders. My people marched in silence for 6 days, carrying the word I had given them, and on the 7th day they opened their mouths and shouted, and the walls came down. The shout did not create the victory. I had already given the city. The shout received it. Your declaration works the same way. It does not talk me into blessing you. It reaches out and takes hold of the blessing I have already released. Consider the blind man on the Jericho road. The crowd told him to be quiet. His need told him to be quiet. Everything in his circumstances voted for silence, but he cried out all the louder, "Son of David, have mercy on me," and his crying out stopped me in the road. The ones who hushed him received nothing that day. The one who spoke went home seeing. Do not let any voice inside you or around you talk you back into silence. Speak your faith even if your voice shakes. A trembling declaration still moves my hand. So from this day, watch the words you release over your own life. Stop prophesying your own defeat. Stop saying nothing ever works out for me, it will always be this way, I will never get ahead. You are not describing your life when you say those things. You are shaping it. Say instead what I say. My God supplies all my need. Goodness and mercy are following me. The one who began a good work in me will finish it. Let your mouth come into agreement with your Father, and watch how the atmosphere around you begins to change. Now there is something more, and I ask you to receive it with a soft heart, because this word was never meant to end with you. I see the people around you, the ones you love, the ones you carry in prayer. And I tell you plainly, there is someone near you walking through the very valley you have been walking. Someone who lies awake doing the same arithmetic you did. Someone whose smile is holding back a flood. Someone who has begun to wonder quietly whether I have forgotten them. You know this pain from the inside. That is precisely why you can recognize it in another when others walk past it. Even now, as my voice reaches you, a face is rising in your heart, a name. Do not brush it aside. That remembrance is not a stray thought. It is my finger pointing. I am showing you who needs this hope, because I did not hand you this word only to feed you. I handed it to you the way I handed bread to my disciples on the hillside, to be passed along. And you remember what happened to that bread. It multiplied in the passing. 5 loaves fed thousands, and the fragments that remained filled 12 baskets. The bread that is shared is the bread that multiplies. It has always been so in my kingdom. So carry this hope to them. Speak a word of life to that person. Tell them the season of lack can end, that I see them, that I have not lost their address. You do not need eloquence. You need willingness. When you open your mouth for the weary, I will fill it. And understand what happens in the unseen when you do this. You become part of my answer to a prayer you never heard, prayed on a night you never knew about. Few honors in this life are higher than that one. And hear this promise, spoken over every generous act. The one who waters others will himself be watered. The one who carries relief will walk in relief. I keep careful books, my child, though not the kind men keep. Whatever mercy leaves your hand returns to your door, pressed down, shaken together, running over. You cannot outgive me. No one ever has. Many have tried, and they are the most contented people in my whole household. Do not wait until your own breakthrough is complete before you strengthen someone else. That is the world's order. Secure yourself first, then help if anything is left. My order is different. Give out of your not yet. Encourage out of your own waiting. There is a special strength that flows to the one who comforts others, while still standing in the fire themselves. The 3 men in Babylon's furnace were not alone in the flames, and neither are you, and neither is the one you will strengthen. Speak life today. Over yourself first, until your own heart believes it. Then over that one whose face I have set before you. 2 declarations, 1 mouth, and my power moving through both. Now let me tell you something about yourself that you have half known all your life and never had the words for. You have always felt different. You notice what others walk past. You sense the mood of a room before anyone speaks. You feel things more deeply than the people around you seem to. And there were years when you counted that a flaw, a weakness to be managed, a strangeness to be hidden. Hear your father clearly. It was never a flaw. I made you sensitive on purpose, the way a craftsman makes an instrument fine on purpose. A coarse string cannot carry a delicate note. I needed someone who could hear quiet things, and so I tuned you quietly. That sensitivity is one of the ways I speak to you. When something within you leans toward a choice before your reasons catch up, pay attention. When a caution rises in you about a path, a person, an offer, and you cannot explain it, do not be quick to argue yourself out of it. I often guide my children from within, by a still small voice, not by thunder. Elijah learned this on the mountain. The wind tore the rocks, and I was not in the wind. The earth shook, and I was not in the quaking. The fire roared, and I was not in the fire. Then came a sound like thin silence, and there I was. I have not changed my address. I still live in the quiet. This is why I am calling you into stillness in this season. Not idleness. Stillness. There is a difference. Idleness is an empty room. Stillness is a listening room. Your days have been loud, crowded with voices, demands, opinions, and worries all talking at once, and my voice does not shout over crowds. Be still and know that I am God. Set apart a portion of your day, even a small one, where the noise is put outside the door and you simply sit with me. You will be surprised what becomes clear in that room. Answers you chased for months will walk in softly and sit down beside you. And understand this. You have been positioned, not just blessed. There is a difference there too. A blessing is something placed in your hands. A position is somewhere I have placed you. Where you live, the people you know, the trials you have passed through, The peculiar mix of what you have suffered and what you have learned, none of it is scattered chance. It is placement. Esther did not arrive at the palace by luck, and Mordecai's word to her is my word to you. Who knows whether you have come into your place for such a time as this? You keep asking me what your purpose is, and all the while you are standing inside it. The purpose is not far off in some other city, some other decade, some other version of your life. It begins exactly where your feet are planted this hour. So stay awake, my child, not anxious. Awake. There is a kind of watchfulness that has nothing to do with fear, the watchfulness of a servant who knows the master is near, of a farmer who knows the rain is coming. Live your ordinary days with your lamp trimmed. The turning points of a life rarely send word ahead. Joseph did not know. David carrying bread to his brothers did not know. The fishermen mending nets by the lake did not know that before the sun went down, everything would be different. Keep your heart in a state of holy readiness, because I love to move suddenly among those who expect me. While you watch, remember what surrounds you. You are more protected than you have ever perceived. My servant Elisha's young helper rose one morning to find an army circling the city, and his heart failed him, until his eyes were opened and he saw the mountains full of horses and chariots of fire. The protection was there before he saw it. It did not arrive with his seeing. So it is with you. You have been kept, my child, kept in dangers you knew about, and in far more that you never knew existed. Roads you did not take. Delays that frustrated you and saved you. Doors that closed in your face and in closing shielded you. One day I will let you see how often my hand was on the latch. Because you are kept, you can be brave. Fear has been a tenant in your house too long, paying no rent, rearranging your furniture, deciding which rooms you were allowed to enter. Serve it notice. I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Courage in my kingdom is not the absence of trembling. It is trembling and stepping forward anyway, because you trust the one who called you out of the boat. Peter walked on water exactly as long as he watched me, and even when he sank, note this well, he did not drown. My hand was faster than the sea. It is still faster than the sea. There is one more thing about this hour that I want you to hold. Some of what I am doing in you now is meant to be guarded a while, not broadcast. Mary heard astonishing things from heaven and told no one at first. She kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. There is wisdom in that keeping. New work is like new planting. It roots best undisturbed. Let what I am saying to you settle deep before you spread it wide, and share it, when the time ripens, with those who can honor it. You are seen, you are placed, you are guarded, you are being made ready. Let those 4 truths be the 4 walls of the room you live in from now on. If you know this word was appointed for you, seal it now with your voice. Amen. I am chosen and kept. Something is changing inside you, and I want you to understand it while it happens, so you cooperate with it instead of fearing it. You may have noticed already. Certain conversations that once held you now feel thin. Certain places drain you that never used to. Some pursuits you chased for years have gone quiet in your heart, and you cannot fully explain why. Do not be alarmed. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming clear. I am adjusting your appetite to match your assignment. When I prepare a person for more, I first loosen their grip on less. And much of what is falling away from you now is simply less, making room. Letting go will be part of this season, and I will not pretend it costs nothing. Old habits fit like old shoes, comfortable even after they have worn through. Old grievances feel like possessions, and the heart is reluctant to be robbed of them, even though they rob the heart daily. but you cannot row forward while your anchor is still down. Forgive who needs forgiving, not because the wrong was small, but because the load is too heavy for the journey ahead. Release the old picture of how your life was supposed to look by now. I am not restoring you to an old plan. I am unfolding a better one, and both hands must be empty to receive it. As the clutter clears, your discernment will sharpen. You will begin to read situations more truly, to sense what is genuine and what merely glitters. You will hear the difference between a voice that feeds you and a voice that flatters you. This is not suspicion. Suspicion is fear in disguise, and I am not giving you fear. This is discernment, wisdom's quiet daughter, and she will save you from tables you were never meant to sit at, and detours dressed up as destinies. When she whispers, honor her. She speaks with my accent. Guard your peace the way a watchman guards a city, because in this next season your peace is not a luxury. It is equipment. Out of the heart flow the issues of life, so keep your heart with all diligence. Not everything deserves entry. Not every argument deserves your presence. Not every offense deserves a reply. You are learning, slowly, the strength of a closed door and the eloquence of silence. My son stood before Pilate and did not defend himself, and heaven did not think less of him for the quiet. Some battles are won by refusing to enroll in them. Patience is growing in you too, though patience never feels like growth while it grows. You have begged me to hurry, and I have heard every asking, but hear my reasoning. I am not only preparing a blessing for you. I am preparing you for a blessing, and of the two, the second work is greater. Provision given before character is ready becomes a burden with a bow on it. Many have been flattened by answers that arrived ahead of their foundations. I love you too much to decorate an unfinished house. So when my timing feels slow, remind yourself that the farmer does not accuse the field in April. The seed is not late. It is underground, doing exactly what seeds do in the dark. And gratitude, let it become your daily bread, not the thin gratitude that thanks me only when the answer lands, but the deep kind that finds my fingerprints on ordinary days. Thank me for the meal, the breath, the roof, the one who asked how you were and meant it. Gratitude does something in the unseen that few of my children grasp. It multiplies what it touches. 10 lepers were cleansed on the road, and one returned to give thanks, and that one went away with more than clean skin. He went away whole. Thanksgiving is the difference between the two, and it is available to you every waking hour at no cost but attention. You will also find, as this work deepens, that you need the approval of others less than you once did. That hunger drove you longer and harder than you knew, the performing, the explaining, the quiet auditioning for people who were barely watching. It is losing its grip now, because a heart that knows it is already loved stops begging at other tables. Let my opinion of you become the loudest one in the room. I formed you. I chose you. I have never once looked at you with regret. When that truth settles all the way down, you will walk into rooms differently, not needing them to clap, free to simply serve. And do not despise the day of small beginnings. When my people rebuilt the temple, the elders wept aloud, because the new foundation looked so modest beside the memory of the former house. But I asked them then what I ask you now. Who dares despise the day of small things? The plumb line was in the builder's hand, and that was enough for me. What you hold today may look humble beside what you once dreamed. Build anyway. I measure a work by its faithfulness, not by its first dimensions. A single cloud the size of a man's hand was all that Elijah's servant could see from the mountain. Yet within the hour the whole sky was black with rain. Beginnings in my kingdom are often small on purpose, so that the ending will carry my signature and not yours. Tend what is in your hand and bring me something to multiply. Do not misread the quiet stretches of this transformation. There will be days when nothing seems to move, when the old pull returns, when you wonder whether anything I said this hour was real. Growth keeps no visible calendar. The bamboo farmer waters ground that shows him nothing for a long time, and then, in a single season, the shoot outruns every tree around it. The showing is sudden. The growing never was, so judge nothing by the bare ground. Judge by my word, which does not return to me empty. And through all of it, stay tender. This is important, my child. The world will offer you a harder heart as the price of safety, and many pay it and shrink inside their own armor. Refuse the trade. It is possible to be wise without being cold, guarded without being walled, strong without being sharp. The reed bruised by the road, I do not break. The candle burning low, I do not snuff out. Carry that same gentleness toward the people I place in your path, and toward yourself, for you have spoken to yourself in tones you would never use on anyone you love. Speak to yourself from now on as one speaks to a beloved child. That is, after all, exactly what you are. This is the shaping. This is the deep work under the visible work. Provision is the smaller gift I am giving you this year. The greater gift is the person you are becoming while you wait for it. Clearer, steadier, kinder, harder to deceive and easier to bless. When both gifts meet, the provision and the prepared heart, you will understand why the road ran the way it ran, and you will not wish a mile of it away. Now come close, my child, because this final word is the one I most want you to carry out of this hour. Everything I have spoken today gathers into a single charge. Walk forward, not when the fear is gone, not when the account is full, not when every question has an answer. Now, with the fear still muttering, with the questions still open, walk forward, because the promise does not wait at the end of your certainty. It waits along the road of your obedience. Abraham left with no map, only a voice, and the voice proved better than any map. You have the same voice. You have heard it all through this hour. Let it be enough and take the step. Take the practical step, the one you already know. There is a task you have been circling, a conversation you have postponed, a beginning you keep moving to next week. My provision loves to travel along the road of small obediences. The widow gathered sticks before the flour multiplied. The servants filled the jars with plain water before it blushed into wine. The lepers were healed as they went, not before they went. Do the small thing in front of you and watch how heaven meets you in motion. I rarely steer a ship that will not leave the harbor, and when you step out, expect opposition, and do not be shaken by it. New seasons draw challenge the way light draws moths. Discouragement may speak louder for a while. Old doubts may return in new clothing. People who knew the old you may resist the new. None of this means you have missed my way. Often it means you have found it, for no one wastes arrows on an empty field. Stand firm. The shield of faith is not decoration. Lift it, and the fiery darts fall harmless. I did not bring you through everything you have survived to lose you at the border of your inheritance. Remember also to rest. This command is as holy as any I have given you today. You were not built for endless strain, and provision that arrives to find you broken is a poor exchange. I built rest into the rhythm of creation itself, and I stopped, not from weariness, but to teach you the pattern. Sleep without guilt, Sabbath without apology. The world will not unravel while you rest, because you were never the one holding it together. I was, and I do not grow tired. Hold this hour in your memory. Days will come when the sky grays over and the old voices try to reclaim their seats. and on those days you will need an altar to look back on. Let this be that altar. When Israel crossed the Jordan, I had them pull 12 stones from the riverbed and stack them on the bank, so that in years to come they could point and say, "Here is where the water parted." These words are your stones. Return to them. Say to your own soul on the gray days, "I know what was spoken over me, and I know who spoke it, and his word has never yet fallen to the ground." Let me say plainly what I have shown you piece by piece today. The long squeeze of lack is ending, because I decreed its end. Doors are opening that no hand can shut, because I hold the key. You come to my table as an heir, not a beggar, so lift your head. Your mouth is an instrument of agreement with heaven, so use it. You are placed where you are on purpose, watched over by more than you can see, so be brave. And you are being formed from the inside out, so be patient with the forming. Every one of those words is settled. Not one of them depends on your mood tomorrow morning. They depend on my faithfulness, and my faithfulness has outlasted every empire that ever doubted it. I know there were moments in this hour when hope and fear argued inside you. That argument does not offend me. Bring it to me daily. Come as you are in work clothes or weariness, with strong faith or with the mustard seed kind, and we will talk, you and I, as friends talk. My door has no hours posted on it. My ear does not tire of your voice. Of all the wonders I have made, and I have made seas and stars and mountains beyond your counting, it is still the trusting heart of my child that delights me most. So go now into your ordinary evening, and know that nothing about it is ordinary anymore. The same rooms will hold a different person. The same troubles will meet a different heart. Watch for my hand in the small hours and the small mercies. Speak life over what I have promised. Strengthen the one whose face I set before you. Keep your inner room quiet enough to hear me, for I will have more to say to you in the days ahead. And I want you close enough to hear it. The peace I leave with you now is not the world's peace, which rises and falls with the news. It is my peace, the kind that stood in the stern of a storm-rocked boat and slept, the kind that can sit at a table in the presence of enemies and eat with a steady hand. Let it settle over you as these words end. Let it stay when the silence returns. You are not the same as when this hour began. Something was decreed, something was broken, something was opened, and something in you said yes. I am with you always. Not with you when the answer comes, but with you now, tonight, in the waiting and the working and the walking forward. Before you were aware of me, I was keeping you. Long after this hour fades from your memory, I will be keeping you still. Nothing that comes against you this week is stronger than the one who goes ahead of you. Nothing in your past is louder than what I have declared over your future. And nothing, not height nor depth nor any other created thing, will ever separate you from my love. Go in that love. Stand in that decree. Live in that peace. And now, before you rise, let your last word to me be the first word of your new season. So answer with your whole heart. Amen, Father. Let it be so in my life.